It's Y-Rock on XPN. My name's Joey O, and I'm hanging out with Weird Al Yankovic.
Hey, Joey O. How you doing?
Good.
Doing well.
Good. Thank you so much for doing this. I've been a fan for years and years and years, so I'm really honored to be hanging out with you backstage at the House of Blues.
Yeah, we're at the fabulous House of Blues in Atlantic City. I've never been here before. This is actually kind of a big House of Blues. I've played on a lot of them. The stages are usually pretty cramped. We're usually bumping elbows with a guitar player on stage. but this is kind of a nice stage. It's a quarter-mile trek for the crew to bring the gear to the stage. They don't like it as much as I do, though.
Yeah, I saw Nine Inch Nails, the only other show I've seen here. So very, very different.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
The tour just started in the U.S., right?
Well, it actually was in Australia and New Zealand last month. So we actually kicked off the tour on the other side of the world, but this is the beginning of the North American tour.
And tomorrow you're playing the Bamboozle Festival, actually.
We are, yes.
How did that happen?
Well, that was one of the first shows booked, actually. They called us up and asked if I wanted to do it, and I don't generally do large outdoor rock festival kind of gigs, but I thought I'd give it a shot. You know, I'm not. I had some pretty bad experiences as an opening act early on in my career, so I've always been a little leery accepting those kind of gigs, but. You know, a lot of time's gone by, and I hope that, if they throw anything on stage, I hope it's, something I can take home as a souvenir.
Playing before Lincoln Park, correct?
Yes, yes.
It'll be interesting. Congratulations on Straight Outta Lynn, which is biggest hit album in quite a few years.
Chart-wise, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, I'm thrilled with that. I mean, it's nice after all this time to still be semi-relevant.
One of the best songs on the album, I think, is Trapped in the Drive-Thru. It's just amazing. You captured the minutia and unnecessary, characters that don't really need to be in the plot perfectly of the original.
like little red herrings that just little plot lines that don't go anywhere. Yeah.
It's just how much contact did you have with R. Kelly? Did he? Did you have much contact with him, and has he gotten back to you about the song?
I've met R. Kelly before, but I had really no personal contact whatsoever during the making of the song. He did sign off on it, obviously.
Yeah.
So my peeps talked to his peeps, and they were hammered out the deal. So, and he was really great about it. I mean, he was had a great sense of humor about it, and he was wonderful to work with. So I haven't really heard directly from him his response or reaction to the song. I would hope he likes it.
Did you accuse him of ripping off Stuck in the Closet with Vanna White?
No, we just keep ripping each other off back and forth. That's how it goes.
I really love a lot of your style parodies. Some of my favorite stuff that you've done is stuff that you've done of my favorite bands, like Frank's 2000-inch TV is an REM song. You've done stuff that's Talking Heads and Ben Folds. How do you come up with decide which bands?
For those kind of style parodies, I pick my favorite bands as well because they are labors of love. Because I do spend a lot of time, researching and picking out the idiosyncrasies and trying to figure out what encompasses a particular artist's style. So, and I wouldn't do that with an artist that I didn't like, because it's a lot of, I don't want to listen to an artist that drives me crazy for weeks at a time. And some of the artists that I pick are semi-obscure, when I did. When was it? I think when I did 9 Inch Nails, some critics would say, "Oh, they peaked years ago. How come Al's doing them now?" Well, I don't care. Frank Zappa has been gone for a while after I did Genius in France, and I'm just picking artists that I like and admire, and that I feel that I'd have some fun, trying to cop their style.
The second time through the new album, I realized that Close But No Cigar was a Cake song. I was like,
right.
Once I heard I always blank on the name.
The Vibra Slap?
The Vibra Slap, yes. Once I heard it, I'm like, oh, duh, that's exactly what it is. I'm like, why do I like this song so much? Oh, that's why.
Yeah, he's into the Vibra Slap, John Mccrae. I actually got to go bowling with John Mccrae and Ben Folds a couple years ago. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I know you're friends with Ben, that you've worked back and forth. I love that. I got to interview Ben about 2 years ago, and I asked him about the time you were on The Tonight Show with them, and how it was so odd that, Jay Leno did not acknowledge that you were there. Really, it was just
he did. He did.
I mean, it wasn't like and special guest. It was like, no, how's it going?
No, I actually didn't expect him to acknowledge me at all. In fact, I thought they were going to have me way in the back, in the back of the string section, just as a real background gag. But when I showed up there, they had my X marked on the stage, right next to Ben's piano. Wow, well, okay, I guess I'm being featured. That was really a blast. I woke up that morning. Literally, I woke up that morning, I got a call from Ben Folds saying, "Hey, you want to play Tambourine for me in the Tonight Show tonight?" Sure. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I remember I interviewed him. He's like, I hate doing TV. So anything I can do to make it different, is, you know, what makes it special.
Yeah.
And then I think last time I saw him on Conan, he was wearing a pirate costume. So, so there you go.
Oh, that band! What a wacky guy.
You're coming back. You're here in AC, but you're going to be in the whole area in the near future. You're going to be in Philadelphia on the 31st, I believe, Keswick.
Yeah, just going back and forth. Yeah, rock tours, as you probably well know, don't have any rhyme or reason to them. So we just zigzag all across the country in no, perceivable, rational order.
And then, yeah, I think you're playing Reading as well. So you're going to definitely be in the Philadelphia region quite a bit. How long is the tour going to go, though?
It's going to go till the end of October.
Oh, wow.
And, I don't know what's happening next year, but this tour is pretty solidly going through till then.
Cool. Well, I think I'll let you begin the takeover. So I'll hand over the reins. It's Y-Rock on XPN, and now we begin the Weird Al takeover. Let's start with the song we were just talking about, Close But No Cigar.
Close But No Cigar. You mentioned this is an homage to Cake, one of my favorite bands, and there's a really cool video for this song, which is on the album, directed by John Kricfalusi, the guy that created Ren and Stimpy. So that was really a thrill for me to work with John because he's one of my heroes, and I got to actually did the animatic for that video. So I actually was very closely involved in that. A lot of fun, and a lot of fun doing this song. It's one of the songs we'll be doing in the live show, and this is Close But No Cigar. Oh yes, Bill Shatner, Mr. Tambourine Man. It was a tough decision trying to figure out, was I going to play Mr. Tambourine Man or Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds? He's got so many hits. Bob Dylan's version of Mr. Tambourine Man was pretty cool, but I think that really William Shatner did the seminal version, and I feel very close to William Shatner because we talked about Ben Folds before, and William Shatner. Ben is a mutual friend of myself and William Shatner, and also I live next door to the guy that does Mr. Shatner's hairpiece. So we have a lot in common. 6 degrees of separation there. William Shatner on Y-Rock on XPN. Moving right along, here's another one of my favorite groups. Some of my favorite bands are the bands that I was exposed to in my college days. So I think a lot of us are kind of stuck at a certain point in our lives in terms of our musical taste. And I might be guilty of that myself because a lot of bands like Talking Heads and B-52s and Diva Oingo Boingo are all bands that I was really into in my formative college years. And the B-52s was really cool. They were definitely one of my favorite bands, and they still are. I remember when their debut album showed up at KCPR, which is my campus radio station in San Luis Obispo, California. Here is a song from, I believe, their second album. This is Strobe Light on XPN. Santa's Beard from They Might Be Giants, again, one of my all-time favorite bands. This is Weird Al Yankovic, kind of hanging out here on Y-Rock XPN, playing some of my favorite songs for the next 12 or 13 hours. I don't know how long I'm going to be on here. I'm pretty spontaneous. I just might stay here like for the next couple days. I'm kooky like that. Before They Might Be Giants, we heard Barenaked Ladies. They're Canadian, They're from Canada. With If I Had $1 Million. And starting out with B-52s and Strobe Light. Moving right along, here is a really cool band, and perhaps the funniest movie of all time, Spinal Tap, with an ode to the Big Bottom. What does that song even mean? I have no idea, but I love it. I was like bashing my head against the wall during that entire song. That was so great. Whale with Hobo, Humpin, Slobo, Babe. Any song called Hobo, Humpin, Slobo, Babe, it's got to be a hit. That was too cool. Before that, the late, great Warren Zevon with Werewolves of London and Spinal Tap, Big Bottom. Weird Al Yankovic here on XPN. Oh, gosh, I'm having a darn good time here. I'm just hanging out backstage at the House of Blues in Atlantic City and playing some of my favorite songs. Moving up to, I mentioned these guys before, again, one of my favorite bands, Cake featuring John Mccrae, and a cool little ditty called Sheep Go to Heaven. Brian Wilson from the Smile album with Vegetables. Oh, Brian, anybody that writes a whole song about eating your vegetables, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Brian, again, is a huge inspiration to me. In fact, on the new album, Straight Outta Linwood, there's a song called Pancreas, which is a style parody of Brian Wilson. That was really a real challenge because the production on Smile is just insane. It's like some of the coolest production and some of the best vocal arrangements I've ever heard. So that was a real challenge to try to emulate that. on Pancreas, and I actually got to meet Brian a few times, really. And once I played accordion on one of his tracks, which I think that track has never surfaced. It's never seen the light of day, and I couldn't even tell you the name of it. It was during a period in his life when he was with Dr. Eugene Landy, and the album was called Sweet Insanity. There might be a bootleg of it floating around someplace. But it was really a kick to work with Brian in the studio, and I'm just rambling now. But I like to hear the sound of my own voice, if you can tell. Before that, Camel Walk with Southern Culture on the Skids, and Talking Heads for Artists Only. You can see it till it's finished. And Cake, Sheep Go to Heaven. Weird Al Yankovic on Y-Rock. Moving right along, as we are prone to do here. Here's an oldie but a goodie. This is a real oldie. Here's Raymond Scott with Powerhouse. Ah, yes, Foo Fighters with This Is a Call from their debut album. Dave Grohl, the coolest guy on earth. Blondie with Eat to the Beat, and starting out with Raymond Scott's Powerhouse. I'm sure you recognize that from 20,000 cartoons. Most of Raymond Scott's work has been appropriated for Warner Brothers cartoons and various things like that. So I think you'll know that a lot of people call that song Happy Birthday because I think the famous cartoon is, no, not Happy Birthday, not Happy Birthday. Dun, 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 dun. Raymond Scott, Powerhouse. Weird Al Yankovic on Y-Rock XPN. Moving on to a little madness now with House of Fun. REM with Superman. If you ever meet REM or anybody from REM in person, don't tell them that Superman is your favorite song, because they didn't write that one. That'll just tick them right off. But I do like that song anyway. I like their whole catalog, but in case they're listening, I thought they'd get ticked off. There you go, Superman. Pump It Up by Elvis Costello before that. And Beck with Mixed Business. And starting out, that rock block was Madness with House of Fun. Weird Al Yankovic on Y-Rock XPN. I'm just playing just a poop load of songs for you guys. I hope you appreciate it. I'm doing it just for you. This is not for my entertainment. It's for yours. It's for your edification and enlightenment. And now a song. This is a semi-obscure song, but you might remember the video. This was a really cool Michel Gondry video. Lucas with the Lid Off by Lucas. Yes. Again, going back to my college days and the new wave craze. That's the Vapors with Turning Japanese. What are they talking about? What kind of... Anyway, Veruca Salt before that, Volcano Girls, and starting off with Lucas with the Lid Off. I'm having just a swell time, aren't you? This is spiffy. Weird Al Yankovic on Y-Rock on XPN. Keeping it rolling. Here's another oldie. This is, I guess, from my teenage years. Harry Nilsson, the late great Harry Nilsson, and Lyman the Coconut. Oh, my pal Ben Folds with Rent-A-Cop. That was on one of his downloadable EPs, and now on his latest collection, a semi-obscure, silly little song. That band, he's a silly guy. What a kooky, zany, nutty funster that Ben Folds is. Nirvana before that with Sliver. And Harry Nilsson, Lyman the Coconut. We've got, let's see, 11 and a half hours left to go on the Weird Al rock block on Y-Rock. Let's kick off the next set with a seminal rock group from L.A. doing a cover of a song by another seminal rock group from L.A. This is X doing a cover of The Doors' Soul Kitchen. The Presidents of the United States of America with Peaches. Great band. I've seen them live many times. I actually got to hop up on the stage with them once at the, where was that? I think at the Whiskey or someplace in LA. Hopped up on the stage with them and we sang Gump together, my parody of Lump. That was a lot of fun. Well, you know what? I think this show is over. I have decided I am done. I am through with this. I have ceased to be your host for this show. I'm moving on. The sound check is starting. I have to get out of here. But this has been a lot of fun. We should do this again sometime. Maybe next Thursday. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll call you. We'll work it out. This is Weird Al Yankovic on Y-Rock XPN. Had a wonderful time. Keep in touch. Don't be a stranger. I'm going to leave you with another track off of Straight Outta Linwood. This is I'll Sue Ya. Thanks again. Take care.
And there you have it, the Weird Al Yankovic Y-Rock radio takeover. How fun was that? What a great set of music. It was all really good stuff. I mean, everywhere from William Shatner and the old school Raymond Scott Powerhouse to the Foo Fighters and Beck, Nirvana, Ben Folds song just a couple years ago, Ramones, and of course Al there. That was I'll Sue Ya, which, if you couldn't tell, is a Rage Against the Machine parody. In fact, when I saw him do that live that night, the band dressed up totally like Rage. Al wears like some old school Zach dreadlocks. And the best thing is his guitarist is totally like all Tom Morello'd out, right down to like the black hat and like the navy, well, not navy, whatever color, work shirt and all. So very, very cool. Thank you so much to Al once again for doing that. That was so fun. I'm really glad I think that turned out awesome. That was one of the best radio takeovers. And if you missed any of it, we'll run the whole thing on the stream like next month. We